Good morning, sir, and good morning, everyone. Our discussion for today is all about early visual work of art in other countries. Mesopotamia. Okay, when we say Mesopotamia, it's a name that refers to the region in the Western Asia that spanned over the area of modern day Iraq, Turkey, Iran, and Syria. Mesopotamia is often referred to as the birthplace of civilization, as the first record of written history can be traced back to this region. Okay? Next is the early cultures of Mesopotamian art. When we say the early cultures of Mesopotamian art, the region now known as Iraq was once called Sumer during the earliest Bronze Age. Despite the earliest recorded historical events, only dating back to around 2900 BCE, scholars today think the Sumer was first inhabited by people called the Obadians, sometime between 4500 and 4000 BCE. The first here is the Obed period. The art of Mesopotamia from this period is recognizable by the distinctive painting technique and applied to pottery. Okay, example here is art of Mesopotamia Obed third pottery jar. Okay, pottery jar 5300 to 4700 BC, Louvre Museum, EL of GRN CC by SA 2.0. Okay, next is the Uruk period. During this period of transition toward the Uruk period from the Obed period, the focus shift from domestic slow wells to work that were created large scale on the fast well by groups of specialist artists and were unpainted. Example here is the map of the Middle East during the last centuries of the 4th millennium BCE archaeological site of the Uruk-yan. Okay. Third is Gilgamesh, Enmi Baragese of Kish. It is the first recorded king of the region and was mentioned in the Epic of Gilgamesh from around 2100 BCE. Some scholars do suggest that Gilgamesh might once have been a king of Uruk himself. Okay. Example here is the newly discovered tablet V of the Epic of Gilgamesh, dating back to the Old Babylonian period, 2003 to 1595 BCE. Usama Shukr Muhammad Amin FRCP CCE by SA 4.0. Okay, next is ceramics in Mesopotamian art. Ancient Mesopotamian arts such as a ceramic began to see shifts and variety and styles in the 4th millennium BCE due to certain technological advancements such as the potter's wheel. Okay? The production of ceramic first came out of East Asia sometime between 20,000 and 10,000 BCE. And furthermore, making clay by throwing in on a potter's wheel was practice that originated in Mesopotamia in the 4th millennium BCE. Next is, first, the Chalcolithic era. The pottery produced during the Obed period was made on slow wells at home and was highly decorated. Mesopotamian artists create jars, bowls, and vases with a fired clay and paint decorated and abstract design, a style that is spread throughout the region. Example here is from pottery from the Chalcolithic era is in Seymour, Scotland, CCE by SA 3.0. As you can see, ginawa pong masyado siyang simple, creativity, and other is made of stone. Okay, made of stone. Okay, next is the second, the Akkadian Empire. During the period of Akkadian takeover of Sumerian cities, artists continued to create vases, jars, bowls, and many other ceramic objects. They were mostly unpainted like the Uruk period pottery. Okay? Although a few examples display abstract patterns and reliefs on them. Okay. Example here is Akkadian pottery is here. Okay. Zoom. Here example of Akkadian pottery. Okay. Third is ordered. During the third or dynasty, unpainted ceramic objects were still being created, yet in more elaborate forms, creating vessels out of clay for storing liquid, as well as flower pots and cake stand. Okay. Example here is cuneiform tablet of beer, bread, and oil, or third period, C point, 2100 to 2000 BC, the Daderot. This is what we call Daderot. Okay. Fourth is Babylonian ceramics. Okay, when we say Babylonian ceramics, ceramic produced during this period indicates a marked return to the use of abstract patterns paint on the surface of the pottery, as well as a further increases in the array of forms available for various of purposes, both practical and aesthetic. Okay. Example here is paint pottery, Zamdath Nazar period, C point, 3000 BCE, from Gereza, Sharizar Plain, Sulaimania, Iraq, Osama Shukir, Muhammad Amin, FRCP, CC by SA 4.0. Okay. Sculpture in Mesopotamia. Okay. When we say sculpture, for more than 200 years, Mesopotamian art and sculptures had been created for the political and devotional reasons. However, the method in which those proposed were conveyed has differed greatly from one period to the next. Okay. Based on the most recent archaeological research, sculptures from Mesopotamia can be dated back to the 10th millennium BCE, before humans began to settle and the rise of civilization began. Okay. First is hunter-gatherers and Samara. Okay. This is the sculpture that have been found by archaeologists from this period are old and small and light and small. This is due to the reason that hunter-gatherers were nomadic and constantly on the move. Therefore, it made sense that their sculpture were portable and not heavy to move over long distance. Okay, example is fertility figure from the Halaf culture. Okay, 6,000 to 500, 100 Visual Louvre Museum. Okay, as you can see, para siyang tao, ika nga sabi niya, human. Okay? Imagine, para siyang statue. Okay? Third, and second is Uruk period sculpture. The sculpture of the Uruk period reflect concepts such as a communication and spiritually. From example, from this period of the late prehistoric era is the Uruk dating to around 3,300 BCE. Next is Uruk. This is example of Uruk period. Uruk Gary Toad CCO. Okay, you need to zoom it. As you can see, meron pong pattern na mga hayop. Okay. Next is the Mask of Warka from the Warka. Ancient Uruk, Iraq. Tapos, Jamdet, Nasser period, 3,000 to 2,900 BCE. Osama Shukir Muhammad Amin, FRCP, Glaz. Okay. As you can see, magandang pagkagawa. Made on clay. Okay. Third is earlier dynastic period. During the early dynastic period of 2900 to 2400 BCE, the sculptures of art in Mesopotamia created work that built on the older tradition and developed styles that became more complex with time. Okay. Example here is cylinder seal of the lady or queen. Sumerian, NIN, Puabi, one of the main defuncts of the royal cemetery of UR. 2900 BC banquet scene, typical of the early dynastic period, and Nick McP from Morris, Minnesota, USA. Okay. Next is the bald-headed lyre recovered from the Royal Chemist Cemetery of UR, Iraq, 2550 to 2450 BCE. Mary Hearst from Springfield, Oregon, USA. Okay. Next is statuettes of Sumerian female and male worshippers from the square temple of Abu at Tel Asmar and Saint Ishonana. Eric Elad, early dynastic period, c. 2800-2400 BCE, part of the so-called Tel Asmar Horde, Osama Shukri Muhammad Amin, FRCP. Okay, next is the fourth, Akkadian Empire. The period of the Akkadian Empire lasts from 2270 to 2154 BCE. And the sculpture of the period grew increasingly vamped around war and politics. And the style grew exponentially more lifelike in its representation of the human form. Okay? Example is Mask of Sargon of Akka. Akka, like Akkadian. Hans Ollermann. Okay, nakikita nyo. As you can see, mask. Pwede ata ito siyang suotin. Okay. Next is Victory Stele of Naram-Sowen, Fred Romero from Paris, France. Okay, again, we need to zoom it para naman makita nyo yung mga pattern. First I see here is human. Okay. Next is Babylon and Assyria. As the Middle of Bronze Age gave way to the late Bronze Age in the second millennium BCE, Assyria and Babylonia became the most prominent cultures of the era in the Near East. Although stone was also used for sculpture, clay was the most commonly used material. Okay. Clay was the most commonly used material. Okay. Example here is an Assyria artwork depicting soldiers filling up booty, ca. 640 to 620 BC, from the Southwest Palace in 9-Bay, Rome. Panels, 79 British Museum. Okay, again. Next is Mesopotamian and Babylonian architecture. When we say that, to the ancient people of Mesopotamia, the craft of architecture was a divine gift from the gods. A lack of suitable building stone in the region made clay and sand-baked bricks the material of choice for the building structures. Pilasters and columns were common features of Babylonian architecture, as well as paint, frescoes, and the use of enameled tiles. Next is famous Mesopotamian architectural Ishtar Gate, Berlin Pergamon Museum, Miguel Hermoso, Cuesta, CC by SA 4.0. Okay? Next is domestic architecture. During the early days of life in Mesopotamia, it was up to members of the family to construct their own house. Most houses were made of wooden doors, mud, bricks, and reeds. There were no windows as we houses were usually load-bearing. So, the only openings of the shelter will be the door. Kunya ang kanilang pintuan lang yung open lang. Wala silang, kumbaga, bintana or ano-anong butas dyan except isa lang ang pinto. Okay. Next is ziggurats. It is every ancient culture of distinction reached an era of creating hug monuments as can be seen in Egypt. Okay. Makikita talaga yan sa Egypt ang ziggurats. For the people of the Mesopotamian culture, one of the most incredible achievement was the construction of the ziggurat structures. Ziggurats are similar to pyramid, consisting of terraced steps with receding levels that were built by peeling and staking very large cut of stone. Ziggurats would usually have a temple or shrine at the top of the steps. Makikita niyo ito sa lugar ng Egypt. Okay? Next is Mesopotamia buildings ziggurat of UR. Okay? Makikita niyo ito sa lugar ng Egypt. Okay. Next is Babylonian architectures, Choga, Zanbil ziggurat, Ali Hormozes CC by SA 4.0. Okay, again, we need to zoom it. Okay, again. Next is political architecture. It is public Mesopotamian buildings such as a palace and temples were highly decorated on the outside with the features such as enameling gold, leaf, and vibrant paint colors. Many elements were multiple functional and were used for structure or structural support and decoration, such as a terracotta panels and color stone used to delay the deterioration of the public structures as well as strengthen the public buildings. Durable masonry, such as stone, become more prominently used between the 30th and 10th century BCE, as Assyrians used it to replace the sand-baked bricks. Okay. The Mesopotamian drawing and sculpture produced under Ashurnasirpa II, Sargon II, and Ashurbanipal show us how Mesopotamian art grew and evolved from vibrant yet childlike to subdued and naturalistic over these periods. Okay? As you can see, here is Ashurbanipal II. Detail of the lion hunt seen from the North Palace at Nine Bay in modern day Nine Bay Governorate, Iraq, 7th century BC. Osama Shukr Muhammad Amin, FRCP, CC by SA 4.0. Okay. Next is a drawing of the Assyrian Palace of the Nimrod. Internet Archive Books image. Okay, the Palace of Nimrod restored from a sketch by James Ferguson for Henry Layard. Okay. Next is famous Mesopotamian artifacts, Lamaso relief from the Palace of the Sargon II in the Khorsabad C.721 to 705 14 BC. Okay. Next is Ishtar Gate at the Pergamon Museum. Okay? Ito yung tinatawag ng Ishtar Gate. Okay? Thank you everyone and God bless. Yun lang po at maraming salamat.